You speak to a founder, you speak to a team leader. The one thing nobody can buy is time. This is my 9th startup. Okay.
Wow.
When they introduce me on stages, they go 8 startups in 11 years, exited 5, blah blah blah. What they don't tell you is how many I failed on. That is what a human being learns from.
Yes.
Right? An AI learns from successes that are there. Humanity learns from the mistakes it makes. Right? So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to learn from them. Make sure that you make your mistakes as many as possible and as quickly as possible. This is your journey. Your first startup will take you to here and you'll fail. Your next startup, if you learn from your mistakes, will take you to here and then you'll fail until you get to success. So how many of those startups do you need to do to get to success? Depends on how much you learn.
Welcome to the Sandpit Startups podcast, where we journey into the minds of the brightest and the best the region has to offer. We're here to connect the entrepreneurs in the studio with the entrepreneurs listening at home, and we sincerely hope the next half an hour or so motivates, educates, or inspires you. And if it does, you know what the follow button is.
Today we are joined in the studio by Talal Thabet, the founder of Haltia.AI, and we are really excited to have him. He's a seasoned entrepreneur who has a wealth of experience in startups, investments, and especially AI. We are super excited to talk about this intriguing topic, which is a hot topic in every part of the world. And we welcome you to our podcast.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. Really nice to meet you guys.
It's our pleasure.
So Talal, in layman's terms, what would you say if you were to give like sort of an elevator pitch for what Haltia.AI is?
Right. It would have to be let's start with the elevator. It'd have to be a really pretty long ride.
Okay. Let's say we're going up the Burj Khalifa then.
Yeah.
Right. You've got some time.
Many stops in between. So.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So Haltia is the only adaptive personal AI that at its core, its main pillar is privacy first, right? Second pillar, precision. Third pillar, a premium experience. So let's break that down. What is personal AI? A personal AI is something that you can put in your pocket, right? It's what most people call an AI assistant. We call a personal AI because it's way more than an assistant, way, way more. So this can guide you. It can search for you. It can remind you. It can organize you. It can advise you. It can motivate you. It can do a whole host of things. Now, why adaptive? Because it's unique. The AI that you have, same download that Sam got, right? But the longer Sam uses it, the more it adapts specifically to Sam's goals and needs, right? And yours too, Abby. So imagine this.
Okay.
You've downloaded Haltia.ai onto your phone, okay? And we're going to launch on iOS products first. So your phone, iWatch, iPad, laptop, desktop, all right? All iOS products first. A year later, we'll be into Android. So let's say you've got it on your phone. And this personal AI has asked you several questions. You've engaged with it. You've now started to see how useful it is. You're connecting with it through voice. So you're emotional, you're characteristic, you're unique, right? But more importantly, what you've been able to do is you've been able to talk to this AI in a sense of saying, look, this is what I want to achieve in my life. These are my goals. Are you going to be able to help me do that? And that's what it does. It makes sure it looks at your contacts and figures out what your second and third degree contacts need to be in order to achieve your goals.
Wow.
It looks at your data. It looks at your emails and figures out who you need to write to, when, and things like that. But each personal AI is going to be different. So, case in point, You guys are young, so I don't assume you're married. Is that correct?
I am married. Yeah.
You are married. Okay, wonderful. So your wife, is she working?
Yeah.
Okay. Children?
No.
No. Imagine a single mom. And she has to juggle so much. Work, children, a whole host of things.
Yes.
Right? Cognitive overload for her, in a sense that she's got to figure out the extracurricular activities for the kids. She's got to be the professional at work,
And the household activities.
and she's got to be a mother.
Yeah.
So she's got to be loving and caring and attentive and sensitive and all of those things. So imagine she's driving down the road after she drops off the kids at school, right? And she's heading to work, and now she's putting her game face on for work, right? And her personal AI says, don't forget on Wednesday, it's little Billy's vaccinations that need to be updated. And she goes, oh my God, what am I going to do? Would you like me to send an email to the pediatrician and make a booking for Saturday? Right? Oh my God, could you do that? Because I'm not going to have time when I get to work.
Right.
It's that kind of stuff. So really, what is going back to the premise of your question, what is an adaptive personal AI? It unlocks time. It makes you smarter, right? What would your definition be for, should we say, intelligence, human intelligence, right? It's a combination of knowledge, everything you've learned, everything you've been educated, everything you read, all your experiences, plus recall.
Yeah.
Right? If you can't recall it, you can't use it.
Yeah.
Right? You can add another layer to that and say IQ then says it's the knowledge that you've gained through education, reading books, your experiences, plus an amazing recall factor, plus the layer then to be critical in your thinking and creative in your thinking, to be solution driven, right? Okay. Now imagine you have that in your pocket and it's your data. Okay. And it's private. So the more you use this, the more you'll realize, oh my God, I hope nobody hears this.
Yeah.
I hope nobody actually, breaches this.
But what I feel, it's super interesting, right? They understand the whole persona of the person using it, but there is always this aspect about privacy related to this. So how does Haltia.AI consider privacy in these scenarios and makes it different from the others out there?
Okay, so privacy is our number one pillar, right?
Okay.
It's our first pillar. We've got 9 cypherpunks. Do you know what a cypherpunk is?
I haven't heard of that.
All right. So a cypherpunk is a individual who is a privacy advocate.
Okay.
Okay. These are people that were born really from the perspective of data being breached, data being shared, data being exploited by whether it's private or public entities. And they genuinely feel that privacy is dignity, right? And if anybody doesn't believe that, ask yourself, do you shut the door when you go to the toilet? Right? So that's really, really a major part. And cypherpunks are very well educated, very, very smart, extremely knowledgeable of the sector of data security and data sharing and all of that kind of stuff. You'll find them working in some of the most biggest and most creative roles in tech. My partner, Arto Bendikin, is one of them. Right.
Okay.
And absolute. I mean, this guy's been coding, I don't know, since he was 6 or something ridiculous like that. Right. He's been involved in some of the biggest and absolutely prolific at what he does. Right. He's the guy who builds Haltia. I'm the guy who sells it and markets it. Right. So if you wanted to equate us to a Wozniak Jobs kind of relationship, you would be close, but not that close. So, and that's not because of him. It's because me. I'm not so Jobs, right? So privacy is extremely important. And as AI becomes more and more prolific, the proliferation of AI in all different sectors, medical, education, health, it's going to absorb so much data. And it requires to absorb so much data in order to be able to do its job the way we want it to do its job. Privacy is going to be an extremely important part of it. So what we've done is, number one, we wanted to show people that privacy was really important to us. So we invited 9 cypherpunks who obviously loved the idea that we were doing something so private onto our advisory board. And the reason why is that no matter what happens, if we're playing around with people's data in a way that's not appropriate, they'd be the first people that would ring the bell, right? So they're our conscience. Number 2, the LLM, the large language model, we put on your phone.
Okay, it's on the phone.
It's on the phone, right? Of course, not a ChatGPT size, but something made smaller, but still very effective and very useful on your phone with 0 connection onto the cloud. Nothing goes to the cloud. You are not connected to the cloud. You know what that means, Abby? It means that you can operate Haltia.AI on airplane mode.
Wow.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
That is.
So you're on your plane, you can't connect to Wi-Fi, no problem. Your personal AI is right there, all right, and can connect to all your data for you and things like that. That keeps it private. Why not the cloud? Because the cloud is breachable, and we're keeping it on the phone makes it unbreachable, right? I can give you several examples, from Unifax to ChatGPT. Apple says to its staff members, you can't use ChatGPT in Apple because it's breachable, right? And it's not that it is breachable, it has been breached, right? Several times. So imagine you're a government worker, or you're working on something very secretive, or even, shall we say, sensitive, or let's say semi-classified or something like that, and you're using ChatGPT, all right, boom, you're done, right? Then there's, I was just saying earlier, the UK electoral, 40 million records breached just this August, a couple of months ago. 40 million records of an electoral. An electoral means that it has all your information, from your social security to how much tax you paid, how much you get paid, Very, very scary. So privacy is extremely important. The way we see privacy is that it's dignity. And now imagine that you're talking to your personal AI and you're saying, I don't feel very good today. My girlfriend is doing this and I don't feel too happy about it. What do you think I should say? Right? Conversations like that should be private.
It should.
Right? And privacy is part of your dignity, right? It's extremely important to us.
We're going to take a brief break to hear from our sponsor, Middle East Advisory Partners. Top-tier advisors servicing the owner-managed, family-run, and SME sector. Here we have with us Paul Donnelly sharing his tip of the episode.
Build a strong online presence. Having a website isn't enough these days. It needs to be user-friendly, visually appealing, and optimized for search engines. Engage with your audience on social media platforms relevant to your business, using them not just for promotion, but also for fostering a community and providing value. So many businesses today are data-driven. Uber, Airbnb, Amazon, etc.
If you'd like an experienced advisor on your team, reach them at me-advisorypartners.com.
So in the world of AI, it moves scarily fast. Yeah. So even the most sort of prolific businesses out there like ChatGPT, I doubt they would call themselves finished or at an end stage product. So with that being said, where are you guys in your progression in terms of where you want to be in the short term, but also where do you see AI going and how do you then build the product on top of that?
Absolutely. It's a great question, Sam. What we want to do in the long run is be a super app, right? An app for everything. You should
Super app. Okay.
Yeah, so you should be able to do a whole host of things outside of intelligence, right? Let me put it to you this way. My name is Sam, and these are my life goals. And this app says, okay, this is your path. Right? These are the people you need to meet around the world. These are the conversations you need to have. These are the conferences you need to go to. These are the events you need to go to by this time at this speed, because you've said by this age, I want to be able to do X, right?
Wow, yeah.
And that app should be able to do it within your data sets, right? Within your contacts, within the people that you know, right? Why not?
Yeah.
The data is out there. It's on LinkedIn. It's on social media.
Yes.
It's
Does
all
it also
there.
suggest who you need to bring into your data set?
Yes, absolutely. It should be able to. So in the long run, that's what we want it to do.
Wow.
And when I say long run, I mean less than 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is long in AI terms, right?
Yes.
'Cause
Oh,
it's
that's
moving so quick.
oh my God! It's like a whole 3 generations. Do you know what I mean? In AI. But in the short term, where are we? Well, we're over 30 people in the company. We're bootstrapped. We've just closed an oversubscribed friends and family round.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
Right. Thank you. But it really, all the credit goes to Arto because it's his baby. He brought me in, right? This is not my idea. This is something that he has been working on for the last 14, 15 years, right? And as technology kind of developed,
advances,
right, he's always looking for things to increase his cognitive abilities. And this is exactly it. It's another you, but with an amazing recall factor and all your experiences and all your knowledge and all your data plus the world's.
Just to challenge you on that point, it is a better version of you, kind of. So
Because it knows the user better than the user knows themselves.
yeah, like in some aspects, wouldn't you see it as maybe the person gets lazy because they have another better version of themselves?
No, if the person gets lazy, that's within them,
Yeah.
right? But now, if I asked you, if you had 4 hours a day more, what would you do with them?
Sleep.
Okay.
I don't know, truthfully.
Okay.
But
Right.
sleep sounds good.
Okay. So you would sleep. So you would be healthier.
Yeah.
Right.
Then the app has already helped you. Right? If you've got a proverbial Mount Everest that you want to climb,
burned out.
you've got the time for that. If you want to start another startup because you've unlocked 4 more hours a day, you can do that. If you feel that you're doing a lot, but you're not doing anything well, unlocking 4 more hours can do that.
Yeah.
How many times have you said, I wish there was another me? I wish there was a couple more hours in the day, right?
I have, yeah.
And if somebody gave you that, how much would you pay for it? Right?
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing.
Yeah,
And that
it's
is
powerful.
exactly what Haltia does. Exactly. So where are we today? I mentioned we're over 30 people. We're bootstrapped. We just closed an oversubscribed friends and family round. We are currently testing our alpha internally through our machines internally. We've built a small, shall we say, server of our own, like a baby data center here in Al Quoz in Dubai.
Okay.
All right. Because again, everything we do has to remain private for our members. We don't have users. We don't call them users. The way I see it, a user is someone for either social media or a drug dealer, right? We don't have users because a user is the product. We don't share data. When you use Facebook, you're the product,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we have members. And these members will be paying a subscription, but they'll be getting the download for free. So when they get the download for free, it's not a freemium model that comes with a time limit, right?
Okay.
No, it's forever. You can use it for free forever. But the minute you want to sync to other machines, share, integrate other apps, that's when you're going to have to put your hand in your pocket, right? You'll be able to sync with your machines. You'll be able to connect with family. It depends on the package that you decide to have. We are now in a position where we're going to start looking at both safes and our pre-revenue raise. Okay. Because in order to accelerate to the beta, it's going to cost a lot of money, right? But to be honest, this is a first, and it is a revolution. AI is another industrial revolution in our history, and when we look back, we're going to go, oh my God, that was a huge milestone in human life. This particular app is the same, right, because of what it can do for humanity.
As a startup co-founder, I understand that fundraising is always in the roadmap, especially for a tech startup. And if you have an internal timeline that, okay, you have had bootstrap, you have subscribers through friends and family, how do you see yourself in the fundraising stage? So you'll be raising safes now, and how would that help you in the public product launch in the near future?
So our Series A is pre-revenue, right?
Okay.
Our safes are tied to that.
Yes.
So the way I see it is that a safe is your pre-revenue Series A, right? It's the same. But we start with the safes to talk to some certain people in order to then go into our Series A stronger. What are we raising? Well, our friends and family round got us to a valuation of 10 million. The safes and the Series A pre-revenue raise will get us to a valuation of 280 million, where we're going to be raising $42 million for 15% of the company. Okay. A year later, the milestone is 1 million members. We'll be valuated at 2.8 billion, and we'll be raising $280 million for, again, another 15% of the company. And that we'll call that the post-revenue raise Series B. And I reserve the right to change those numbers.
It's on video now, you can't do that.
Because, a post-revenue raise, it really depends on how well your marketing went and things like that. But that's our goal. All right. But as you know, with startups, this is not my first rodeo. It's not Arto's first rodeo. Many of the people that are in the company, it's not their first rodeo either. We've put together a dream team, an absolute dream team of engineers here in the UAE.
Phenomenal.
It's phenomenal. And we haven't really talked about it that much. You know what I mean? We still need to talk to people like the Dubai Future Foundation and TII. We need to talk to a whole host of...
Call them out.
What camera?
That's you.
Okay, there you go. All right, Dubai Future Foundation, we'd love to meet with you. TII, we'd love to meet with you. Who else? Mohammed bin Zayed, University of AI. I know we've already met with you, but we'd like to continue that dialogue. ATRC, a whole host of entities. But that, you know what that is? That's a reflection on how great the UAE is.
Absolutely.
How techno-optimistic the UAE is.
I love that word, techno-optimistic.
Yeah, absolutely. You go to Europe and there is a lethargic attitude towards progress, right? Oh, you got to be careful about that. Humanity's going to be extinct because of that. You can't do that. Our artificial intelligence is going to kill everybody. Well, let's break it down. Is artificial intelligence today truly artificial? It's learned everything from human information, right? Human generated information.
Yes.
How artificial is that? Not really. Right, it'll be artificial when it starts creating its own content. Right, that's when and not content that we've asked it to create. Right, so I think doomers need to take a step back and stop it. Right, at the end of the day, you've got the same language came out for television, the same language came out for the internet, all right? Their same language came out for cars, and so get on the right side of history is my statement.
Yeah, you can call them out as well. What do you have to say to doomers right now?
Look, doomers, I'll tell you what you need to do. You need to get yourself an AI, right? And ask it whether your position is correct or not. Yes, you're right that there should be regulation, right? But not regulation in the hands of the people that are going to control AI. Because we've already been proven that that group of people are not the right people to be controlling AI or technology for that matter. So don't get me the usual suspects sitting in front of Congress, please. Not interested.
You heard the man. We're going to take a brief break to hear from our sponsor, Inheden. Hey there, visionaries and dream chasers. Meet Inheden, your ultimate partner in turning your visions into digital realities. They're not just another IT company, they're your growth partners and a tech angel invested in your success. Are you looking to expand your business or create an unforgettable user experience? Well, Inheden has your back. With optimized software development, cutting-edge design, and a blend of in-depth research and marketing, they're here to help empower your ideas. If you're curious, head over to inheden.io. That's INHEADEN.io for all the details and get started with your dream project today. Dream, empower, inspire. Inheden.
It's interesting for you to choose UAE as a market. Of course, it's been embraced very well in the States and also in Europe because they tend to follow what happens in the States. But what made you choose the GCC, MENA, and especially UAE as the place to be with Halta?
Well, if you look at contribution to GDP, right, it's number 3 in the world.
True.
Okay, $96 billion by 2030. I'm sorry, against GDP, that's huge. That's absolutely massive. 13.6% of the country's GDP will come from AI-related activities by 2030.
You say 13.
13.6.
Wow.
All right. So for all those people out there saying, "Oh, it's an oil-based economy," go do your research. Go talk to PwC. Go talk to a whole host of different people. Right? It's
changing.
It is changing hugely. All right. And I'm not talking about Dubai. I'm talking about the UAE. 2017, we had a minister of AI, a ministry of AI. What country did that in 2017? Right? The UAE has always shown that it's a techno-optimist. It's always supported technology. It's always supported progress, but with limitations, right? It's looked at humanity. It's looked at the progress for humanity and said, yes, I want to go and do this. So if you look at the UAE, I think 20 years from now, kids are going to be studying the case study of the UAE at Harvard, at Yale, at Princeton, and they should, right, on how to do it. The beautiful thing is that the mistakes that happen here in the UAE are firsts,
Right.
because they're first at doing something, right? And then you read at The Guardian, hey, they made a mistake in that. And The Guardian loves to, talk.
Yeah, because they're afraid to do so. They're not they're not afraid to do so.
Right. Yeah. So The Guardian will tell you, oh, Dubai made a mistake here and Abu Dhabi made a mistake here and whatever. But what they don't tell you is that it's a first, right? So obviously people are going to make mistakes, but those mistakes are first. So you're learning from these mistakes.
Yeah.
But do you have the courage, the bravery to actually go for it? The Guardian comes from a market of free speech, right? So free speech means doomers and accelerationists can talk themselves until they're blue in the face and see no progress. Whereas here, we see progress because we have benevolent leaders. We have leaders that actually support technology. They've created an environment for startups. This podcast I'm in right now is a startup in and of its own.
Yeah,
True.
In an environment that has made it very easy for you to go ahead and register the company and deal with banking and finance and advertising and basically put your destiny in your hands.
Yes.
with limiting the amount of, shall we say, government involvement, right? That's amazing. we at Haltia have moved some of the best tech engineers in the world to Dubai and to the UAE. And when we moved them here, they understood why. We didn't have to explain. You know what I mean? It's phenomenal. Go try and import a car into Switzerland from Dubai. It'll take you 4 to 6 months to actually drive the car in Switzerland.
Really?
Once it gets there, because of the amount of paperwork you need to do. Here it takes us 20 minutes.
20 minutes, really.
20 minutes. I've taken a car from the, should we say, customs, all right, on the back of a truck to the Road and Transport Authority, tested the car, and got a registration, and I was able to drive it home in less than 2 hours, from customs all the way to me driving home, right? It's unheard of. It's absolutely unheard of. It's phenomenal, the amount of technology that makes life easier here for us.
So in terms of using tech to make life easier, if you like, sat down all your members that you have subscribed so far and everyone that you plan
we haven't
on
launched yet. We haven't launched yet. So
you have a wait list, right?
We have a wait list of over 2,000 people, but there aren't any downloads that have been done publicly yet.
So if we take everyone on your wait list and then all the future members, everyone you think you can help in the future, and you boil down their pain points and their commonalities to like one need, what would you say that one need is?
Time.
Yeah.
Most people, you speak to a founder, you speak to a team leader, you speak to a mother, you speak to a doctor, you speak to a billionaire, right? The one thing nobody can buy is time.
Yes.
And that is exactly what Haltia.AI will be able to do in terms of a common ground right across. The second is recall. It'll be able to remember things because it doesn't have the same cognitive overload that you do based on your schedule. So it'll be able to say, hey, you're going to meet Frank at this conference. Remember last year when you met him, he told you he was going through a divorce. It'd be nice if you mentioned something, right? That's amazing. That's phenomenal. It makes conversations richer. It makes you smarter, and it gets you towards your goals.
Well, considering the recent saga with Sam Altman and OpenAI, all the world's eyes was on that topic. And it's reminiscent of how it was for Steve Jobs, who got thrown out of his own company and then went back in. But this was in a matter of 2 days. What do you think, as for the audience especially, that makes such a founder powerful, that everywhere he goes, wherever he goes, he's a winner? And your thoughts on the saga itself of Sam Altman going back and forth?
Okay, so I'll give you my take.
Yeah.
Sam has built something absolutely phenomenal. He's a great CEO. Clearly, by 700 out of 770 staff saying we're going with you, irrespectively, right?
Yeah.
So clearly, that loyalty means a lot to the employees. It means that him as a leader, he's been good to his people, right? On many different factors. Now, put the board aside. Let me give you my take.
Sure.
Very different than Jobs. I don't think Sam is a Jobs. And I don't think the situation with him was a Jobs. Here are a few questions for you to consider. Why did it all happen on a weekend?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Good point.
Perfectly from the time the stock market closed to the time the stock market started, the whole saga was over.
Right.
It's a bit coincidental, which means that it was planned, right? Second is Microsoft. Microsoft owns 49% of the for-profit company. If you think about that, that is exactly where Microsoft wants to be. And Sam Altman, 2015, putting together OpenAI with Elon, something like that. The idea was humanity and building something for nonprofits and open source. And now OpenAI is not necessarily open source, and it does have a for-profit. So if you think about it, Elon walked away with $1 billion promise of investing in OpenAI, which created a huge hole for any founder, right? Any
For
founder,
sure,
right?
sure.
So they're going to have to find other
A
means.
taker, yeah.
So hence a for-profit company. I don't see anything bad about that. It's the right thing to do if you're not going to be able to find like-minded investors to Elon. And that's pretty hard to find anyway, right? So then you've got Microsoft coming in saying, yeah, for profit, yeah, we'd like a piece of that pizza, right? We'll take a slice. How much of a slice? 49%, half the damn pizza. So Microsoft has issues with competing against Google in terms of search. It has issues with supercomputing. It has issues with being held ransom to NVIDIA with the GPUs, right? So here comes Sam saying, I'm not going to build GPUs. I'm going to build TPUs that are perfectly designed for artificial intelligence and our growth and our supercomputing requirements, right? I'm going to do that with already interest from SoftBank and the Public Investment Fund in Saudi Arabia. So Microsoft, we're good. And we're going to obviously make a lot of money out of that. But we're also feeding our own appetites with the TPUs. ChatGPT, really, what is it? Is it a glorified encyclopedia, global encyclopedia? Yes, it's a search, but it's the next generation of search, right? And so if Satya at Microsoft wanted to beat Google,
This was the way.
this is the way,
Yeah.
right? So to me, it's a beautiful play, and Satya at Microsoft wins either way, whether Sam goes to him or Sam stays there. It's a fantastic play, and it was played during a weekend where Satya doesn't get his stock rocked, right? So my advice to you, ladies and gentlemen, go buy Microsoft stock.
So I was going to ask for your nugget of knowledge, but maybe that was it. But no, in all fairness, we like to end the episodes by asking our guests what their nugget of knowledge to the audience would be. So what would yours be from an AI perspective, would you say?
Well, I can't give it to you from an AI perspective because I'm not an AI.
Okay.
But what I can do is I can, this is my 9th startup. Okay.
Wow.
When they introduce me on stages, they go, 8 startups in 11 years, exited 5, blah, blah, blah. What they don't tell you is how many I failed on, right?
Well, I think it would be 4 then with simple maths, right?
Sorry?
4.
In terms of failed?
Yeah.
No.
8.
I exited 5. I still have 4 I'm working on.
Okay, got you.
Right?
Okay.
But they don't tell you about the ones that I failed and had to shelf
Let's
or
hear it.
just completely demolish, right? That is what a human being learns from,
Yes.
right? An AI learns from successes that are there. Humanity learns from the mistakes it
Mistakes
makes,
they make.
right?
Yeah.
And so,
To err is human.
yes. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to learn from them. Make sure that you make your mistakes as many as possible and as quickly as possible. And if you want to go into startups, this is your journey. Your first startup will take you to here and you'll fail. Your next startup, if you learn from your mistakes, will take you to here and then you'll fail. And your next startup will take you to here until you fail, right? Until you get to success. So how many of those startups do you need to do to get to success? Depends on how much you learn.
I love it. Thank you so much.
All right.
It's been an absolute pleasure having you on.
Thank you so
Pleasure.
much.
Thank you for having me. I'd like to wish you guys all the luck. I don't think you need it. You're really good at what you do.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so
Right?
much.
This is going to be fun, and I'm going to keep listening, and I'm certainly going to subscribe to this.
Yeah, and we'll be
And I
cheering you
suggest
on.
you do too.
Thanks so much again.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.